Hello, I'm Kevin Kline, and you're watching the Broadway.com show.
Welcome to the Broadway.com show, your weekly cheat sheet to everything that's happening on the Great White Way. Or as we like to think of it, the place that suspects the Oscars accountants have blown their shot of having anything to do with this year's Tony Awards envelopes. What's the buzz, Paul?
The Oscars may be Hollywood's biggest night, but Broadway's best headed to Los Angeles to play on February 26th and win. Viola Davis received her first Oscar for August Wilson's Fences, becoming the 10th actor to win both a Tony and a Golden Man for the same character. Benj Pasek and Justin Paul, the songwriters behind the Broadway smash Dear Evan Hansen, took home an Oscar for their song City of Stars from the movie musical La La Land, which won 6 awards in total, although after a legendary onstage slip-up, Moonlight wound up triumphing as Best Picture. Moonlight also won for playwright Terrell Alvin McCraney in the adapted screenplay category, and star Mahershala Ali, who just a year ago was starring off-Broadway in the play Smart People. What a difference a year makes.
Last week, we reported that Grammy nominee Sarah Bareilles, who wrote the Tony-nominated score for Broadway's Waitress, will step into the musical's lead role of Jenna for 10 weeks, starting March 31st. And this week, the show's producers announced who will star opposite her at the Brooks Atkinson. Tony nominee Will Swenson as Hubby Earl, and TV hunk and Broadway vet Chris Diamantopoulos as Dreamy Dr. Pomander. And over at the Richard Rodgers Theater, Javon McFerrin, who has portrayed the titular role in Broadway's Hamilton as an alternate to headliner Javier Munoz, has stepped into the role full-time while Munoz takes a medical leave to recover from a physical injury. Munoz, who we wish a speedy recovery, will return to the production following his recuperation.
Everybody's got the right to be happy and to have a fabulous summer season with Encore's Off Center. A trio of musicals have just been announced to play New York City Center. First up is Stephen Sondheim and John Weidman's Assassins. This exploration of political violence, directed by Anne Kaufman, will run from July 12th through July 15th. Next is Kirsten Childs' autobiographical Bubbly Black Girl Sheds Her Chameleon Skin, directed by Robert O'Hara and running on July 26th and 27th. Rounding out the season is the beloved children's musical Really Rosie, which features a book and lyrics by Maurice Sendak and music by Carole King. Based on Sendak's books and featuring direction by Lee Silverman, the show will play from August 2nd through the 5th. In other Encores news, the upcoming production of Cole Porter and Herbert Fields' The New Yorkers has found its stars. Directed by John Rando, the musical will star Tam Mutu, Scarlett Strallen, Arnie Burton, Kevin Chamberlain, and more. It plays New York City Center from March 22nd through the 26th.
Oh, we can't wait to see this sweet prince. Star Wars favourite Oscar Isaac will be headlining Hamlet at the Public Theatre downtown this summer. Sam Gold's production is also set to feature Gail Rankin as Ophelia, Tony nominee Peter Freeman as Polonius, and Keegan-Michael Key as Horatio. Complete casting will be announced later. Isaac was originally announced to star in Shakespeare's classic last year at the Brooklyn-based theatre for a new audience, but artistic differences got in the way. Hamlet is scheduled to begin previews on June the 20th and open on July the 13th for a limited engagement through September the 3rd.
New Jersey's Paper Mill Playhouse has just announced a showy 2017-2018 season, which will feature a bunch of brand new shows that could wind up on Broadway, like recent Paper Mill transfers, Newsies, A Bronx Tale, and this spring's Bandstand. The musical version of The Honeymooners kicks off the season on September 28th. This long-brewing show was previously announced for aborted premieres at the Old Globe Theater and Goodspeed Opera House and has featured stars including Michael McGraw, Hank Azaria, Leslie Kritzer, and Laura Bell Bundy in industry readings. Tony winner John Rando will direct, and then return to the theater to direct The Sting, based on the Paul Newman-Robert Redford classic and featuring a book by the Drowsy Chaperones' Bob Martin and a score by Urinetown's Mark Holman and Greg Kotis. Also previously announced for Broadway is the final show of the Paper Mill season, Halftime. Previously called Gotta Dance, this musical about senior citizens who audition to dance at halftime at a basketball game premiered in Chicago in 2015 and is directed and choreographed by Jerry Mitchell. Also on the schedule are Paul Slade-Smith's political play The Outsider and everyone's favorite musical about an orphan, Annie.
I'm Christy Altamar and I play Anastasia on Broadway, and you're watching the Broadway.com show.
This week's hotshot is so blazing that it might as well be a small celestial body orbiting the sun. Points for who's already guessed which show we're talking about. Photographer Matthew Murphy snapped this dashing and dazzling photo of the Great Comet's ensemble stars at the 1896 in Brooklyn, and we can't take our eyes off of it. Check out all of Murphy's photos in our newest Gotta Dance feature on Broadway.com, and then be sure to catch these awe-inspiring performers in The Great Comet at Broadway's Imperial Theater.
Everyone wants to spend Sunday in the park with this George. Jake Gyllenhaal opened to much-deserved rave reviews in Stephen Sondheim's classic musical this week. The Oscar nominee gives a concentrated, towering performance in the revival, leaving his audience engaged, emotionally devastated, and oh, everybody loves the way he sings. You may not be eligible for a Tony Award this year, Mr. Gyllenhaal, but you're most definitely Broadway.com's Star of the Week.
Thank you for watching the Broadway.com show. We leave you with a taste of the new upcoming Broadway musical Anastasia, starring Christy Altomare and Derek Klena. See you next week.
There are some